I think if everything works, which is never a guarantee, we're live. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We're coming into spring, loving some warmer weather. It just feels nice. So let us know. As usual, let us know where you're coming in from. My name is Tyson, and I am joined today by my friend Charles, and he's going to bring his excitement and super game expertise to the literal table, because we're going to build a table.
What is up, gamers? Where are we dropping?
Take it away, Charles.
All right. Okay, I prepared something. So today we're going to be building, modeling a game table. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's really exciting. I am a big fan of TTRPGs. I'm a dungeon master, and in honor of that, I decided to write a monologue and perform this to start this like I would a D&D session. So without further ado. Flickering orange light from a nearby fireplace casts dancing shadows across the wooden planks that filled the room. You, brave adventurers, have gathered once more in this familiar meeting place, drawn together by fate and probably a notification that we've done live. Let's be real here. Until today, the Forgotten Realms knew of only 16 planes of existence. These 16 realms include the material plane, where we exist and all of Faerun exists. The inner planes, where the elements are born. The outer planes, where thought and spirit bloom. And the transitive planes, which allow us to travel across time and space. About a week ago, you received a letter from an unknown individual recruiting you for an adventure through the unexplored 17th plane of existence. Today, we embark on a quest unlike any other, a journey not only through treacherous forests or haunted crypts, but across the 17th plane of existence, known as creativity. Welcome, my friends, to the mystical realm of SketchUp. Here, where the push-pull tool can create dungeons beneath our feet, the scale tool can make any creature a giant, and casting the flip tool spell can make a mirror image of oneself. Our canvas is not only parchment, but the very fabric of imagination itself. As you look across the room, you notice a familiar face, that of your adventuring party leader, Tyson the Bold. Tyson speaks.
I love you so much.
Now off to you. Now you
my squeaky leadership voices.
I hyped up this chat. We're ready to go. Tyson, now passing it back over to you. What the heck are we doing?
Oh my gosh, that was brilliant. I love it so much. I just had to do some random movement while you're building this amazing narrative. Oh, well played. You have established your chops, Charles.
Thank you.
That's so great. Love it. Well, then, in the spirit of gaming and adventure and creativity and imagination, I invite everyone, all of our regulars and anyone who's joining us for the first time, chime in. Tell us where you're coming from, but you have to change it up. You can share your real name, but then you have to share your adventurer name and the realm from whence you come.
Ooh.
So let's start.
This.
Let's start off. Let's all be part of this imaginative adventure, and
well, I'll read some of those off once they start coming on.
Yeah, bring them in.
But yeah, so what are we building?
Okay, so
what we're doing.
A gaming table could be many things, and what we'll explore today is we'll kind of like pick a few of those things and sort of build towards that. Obviously, it's a table, and this is an example of one that I kind of played around with in the past. But the nature often of what it can be is a table that has the potential for storage of games or accessories for the type of games you play. A lot of times the top can be removed to reveal this kind of recess inside the table where, and that's for multiple purposes, right? That's so that you can easily reset your table and leave all your pieces in place so that you can play over time and then quickly put a top back on, continue, have dinner, and then come back a couple days later, take the top off and keep playing your game or your puzzle or whatever. A lot of times they have what you might refer to as a rail system on the sides where you can attach accessories for, again, the type of games you play. So that's, we're gonna play with the idea of building a table and then taking it to the extent of like adding some of these elements to it. I apologize in advance if this is the type of exercise. You're spot on, Charles. It's a fun exercise because it's both a design and modeling. And for me, this is the type of design exercise where I can just sort of like start talking to myself and go spinning off into Neverland. So bring me back if I get too far in the weeds.
I appreciate the weeds, especially since I'm going to be following along today, trying to do this myself. I know you're much quicker than I am, so I'm going to try to do it. But yeah, well, don't worry. I'll bring you back in case we need it.
Perfect. So let's start. Let's create a few parameters. And here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to say, this is generally a rectangular-ish dining table, full size. We can make it anything we want. I'm going to start and make it, let's say 42 inches wide by around 80 to 90 inches long. And I thought what we'd do first is we would just go down the path of like, hey, let's kind of get the design or the style of our table. Let's explore a few different styles and then we'll pick one and then take it farther. So let's say 42 by 86.
Nice.
Just for good measure. And then I'm going to, let's say, make this 3 inches and group this. And I'm going to make this table a little taller. Typical table height, I think, in the US is around 30-ish inches, 28 to 30-ish inches. That's a typical sitting height. We're going to make this, let's say, countertop height under the, idea that maybe we're also making our own chairs if we're doing this. And so we're going to have a little bit higher chairs because we're playing with our fellow adult friends. So let's bring this up. So it's a little bit of a higher table. So what we're starting with, again, is just a really generic version of, let's say...
Yeah, just a table. We're making a table.
Just a table. We need some semblance of a tabletop up here. So we've got a chamfer on the top here and one down here. So we'll select this and use a little follow me to create something. And then let's say create some legs. I'll make these, let's say 2.5 by 2.5. Pull this up.
And while you're starting this basic table here, I want to give a few shout outs here. Peter in Toronto, Canada. Hello. We've got going through the chats. Lenny in Wisconsin, the mystical land of Wisconsin. Welcome. We've got some fun ones here. Hold on real quick. Elijah in Georgia. Hello. New Zealand, Italy. And then we have some, let's see. Transom says, I originate from the land of Sequoia sempervirens. You know what a Sequoia sempervirens is?
I Sequoia's a tree.
Yeah, it's the redwoods,
Oh, okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, from my classes. I think that's what that is. And then Keggy in chat says, well, Kegrin is my gaming name, and the wilds of Devonshire, where I roam near the land of pixies and the home of the beast of Dartmoor and the hound of the Baskervilles. The hound of
Nice.
Baskervilles. That's a Sherlock Holmes reference, right?
Yeah.
Where the fairies live, the Fae. You're near the Fae. Don't be picking up anything random off the side of the road. You may owe them something. But yeah, hi everybody. For those who have a gaming table or want one, what are some things that you want us to add to this? Obviously, if we have the time to do so.
Yeah, please shout it out. I am going to, one of the things that is messy modeling 101 is something about what I'm doing tonight. So I made the legs components and then I mirrored them. All that's fine. Typically, not that it's that bad a thing, but like then I like to do this sort of thing where I'm moving the actual geometry inside the component so that I can quickly evaluate things like what
Like the
happens
different
if
styles of table and legs and stuff.
yeah
Yeah.
and that means that ostensibly later we'll adjust the axis and align it more. Well, none of this stuff is what I plan to use. I would plan to remodel all this, but it's just a quick way to do that.
Nice.
Let me. I'm going to copy this and undo because let's take these and make them unique again in the. Well, actually, we didn't have to do that. We just delete this and paste in place, and it's going to make these unique anyway. So here's where we get to start deciding, do we like these legs coming out like this? Do we want to
Ooh,
kind of taper
nice
them?
your leg there. I'm a fan of that. That looks nice.
So,
yeah.
and this is messy. We're just gonna not worry about that we've messed up the geometry a bit. We're just trying to decide. I think so. If we do this and then do something like that, or maybe not that.
Okay, so like a bottom, like a little shelf thing.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
it could be a shelf. It could just be that this is just like bracing, or we could do it a different way. Yeah, we're just kicking ideas.
People are saying tripping hazards and shin killers. We'll
Right,
work on
right?
it. We'll get there. As somebody with very weak shins, I do agree that I would probably have a broken leg if I sat at this table. Currently, we'll get there.
I know. Well, that's all fair points. So let's try a little different approach and say, okay, maybe we'll make the support more of a hay rake table style.
Okay.
Let me cut this out so we're not.
Yes.
We want inch, and then something like that. Again, we're not worried that we're being pretty messy. That's our
So like a little Y guy, a
mm-hmm.
Y braid. Fancy.
Let's do that. Flip it. And so, yeah, because absolutely we'd be like, okay, how does this, will this break our shins, as people are appropriately pointing out? Things like that. Let's,
Michael on LinkedIn says, fancy already. It is pretty fancy. It's a fancy table.
well, we like to get fancy around here.
We're just a couple of fancy guys. A couple of fancy guys.
We're so fancy. That's why I sport this hoodie and t-shirt. That's the epitome of fancy, right? Anyway, I need to not get lost here, and we'll do another iteration. But so yeah, something like that. Where's my midpoint? Oh, doesn't want to find it. Curious. There it is.
Nice.
Okay, so that is an option.
I like that option a lot. It's fancy.
Fancy. All right. Well, we're gonna do another fancy option here. Let's see if we can create one or two more fancy options, and then we'll pick one. All right. This time, okay, let me make these unique. This time, let's. I don't know what to call this style, so as we build this, if anybody does, let me know. I've seen, this just generically referred to as, modern, or there's tables made by a woodworker. What's his name's Nakashima. I'm forgetting his first name, and he's built some tables with kind of the style that we're gonna do here, but you'll see where we're headed in a moment. So let's create.
Is it George Nakashima?
Yes.
He's ooh.
Yes, beautiful stuff, right?
I'm looking up his stuff. This is fun.
So let's say we're gonna put not quite that much. Let's just put a slight curve on this. And down here, put one as well. See if we can. All right, so let's take this. Now, there's a couple ways that this kind of table gets made. This is funny to me. I thought I was centered, which means this should line up, but I'm not. There's something about this table.
What'd you do?
I know, right?
You know what you didn't do? I know what you didn't do. You didn't hit the
You want to
save
live
button.
dangerously
Control
today?
S real quick.
Come on, let's live dangerously. We're on an adventure.
Ooh, we're on an adventure.
All right, not that much adventure. Let me save. Gaming table fun times.
Yeah, there's like a couple ways that I see in this, like the cross section towards the end of the legs, which kind of like act as that kind of like brace. Or there's a couple ones in here that are like closer in, which is kind of interesting. Both are pretty solid. I like both options here. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. I'm excited to see what you do here.
Okay, so first of all, this is weird. I should have this table. Why is this? There we go. I don't know what it was referencing. Anyway, this is the part where I mumble and talk to myself. So if we do that, and this, we need to center. Let me see. Where's our center here? There it is. Maybe a little bit. Stretch it out a little bit more. And then this. Let's lock that in place and put
Nice.
it down here.
Donovan says that he may have to build this after you design it, which I agree.
It must be done.
You said it, now legally you have to do it.
It's exactly. It's gonna have to happen now. No takebacks.
No takesy backsies.
You know what? I better be careful and this component. Okay, so this we need to keep tweaking. Let's tweak this a little more. I think let's see what happens if we splay these out a little bit. We could do that, or we could do it from the top. I could kind of go either way. Let's make that. And then move that out. And then that makes me think. That we could keep this as a single piece, but I think maybe let's make it double.
Are these the two that you're thinking of? Are you thinking of a third one?
Yeah. What was the time? We should stop regardless at some point.
Right. Well, how about this? I kind of want to see what everybody thinks. Actually, why don't we say between these three different styles of legs, like just straight, the one in the middle, and then this one here. And why don't we run a poll? Why don't we do a quick little poll to see what people like?
Here's the thing that I think we should consider.
Okay.
When you're deciding. And this gets into what your priorities, what your gaming ideals are. To me, we will get the most gaming versatility by a straightforward piece like this, because the call it design style or something, I think we can make the top beefier so we have more room, we have simpler construction, we have possibility for drawers and stuff. As we get towards this type of table, I mean, you don't have to, you could put a big beefy top on here, but what you typically see, for I think good reason, is that let's just pull this into like a really beefy top. It doesn't, the design of the legs doesn't lend itself to like a really massive top. So so you're just not going to have as much depth. You're going to have a couple different considerations for the top. So if that style you like, then it might affect how much of the gaming versatility you can add, which, could totally be fine based on your personal preferences. That to me is like, as we get more into kind of really refined contemporary designs, if you want to keep it to contemporary style, then it sort of affects how much gaming versatility we can have. Whereas like this one, I would think this one would lend itself more to, we'd take the top of this, we'd take this part of it, we'd kind of recess it so that we get more of an overhang of a thinner top, and then the actual like gaming piece would be so. And so these leaves that we might take off would be largely overhanging it, whereas over here they might be inset. Right. All the considerations.
Cool. Well, let's do this.
What's the
people
thoughts?
saying that there's toe stubbers, looks a little top heavy. But yeah, let's choose our own adventure here, folks. Let's see what you want to go with. Can you pan out to all three of them real quick? Once you're done with this little spot here, and we can kind of see, we'll just say left, middle, and right? And I'm going to run this only on YouTube. So for everybody out of YouTube, I apologize. You can let us know in the chat. But we're going to run this just on YouTube. But let's just do what leg should we go with? That should be popping up here. What leg should we go with? Okay.
That's funny.
All right. Okay. All right. Interesting. Now the question is, we do this just straight up democracy, or do we do ranked choice voting? Interesting. Okay. All right.
Hey, how are things
it's
looking?
Close. It's really close, and I think I may want to run another poll here, but I wanted to see what you say, right? So currently, the lead with 43% of the vote, only 43, not a full over 50, is left, right? And in second, it's the right one with 33%.
Okay. So if we did rank choice, that means we get rid of the middle one, right? And
yeah, get that out of there.
And
get
then,
that out of there.
Now,
cool. We'll run one more test, or one more poll. We'll just say one or three.
One or three, left or right. If you want to make my life easier, go left. Otherwise, we'll be resolving a few angles. We'll make it work.
Okay. All right, here we go. One or three.
Sorry for everybody who liked number 2. You were outvoted.
One or three. Which are we choosing here, folks? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Where are we
gonna let it go for like a couple more seconds here. But this is actually interesting. It's a lot closer than I expected, for sure.
Oh, goody.
Okay. Okay. All right. The winner with 53% of the votes is number one.
Okay.
Congratulations, number one.
Then we will come back and build what probably is, going to give you a lot more versatility. One thing, though, I thought would be, we're not going to do it. As I was thinking about this and we were talking about this, one of the things that I haven't seen anyone do, which is funny, there's lift desks primarily for offices and computer work, but now they have lift desks, and a lot of times they're specifically made, they're kind of cantilevered. They're made to only be approached from one side, but mechanical lift. But now they have lift desks too, with just, all four legs, and they're uniform, and they are quite robust, and they'll lift up to 400, 500 pounds. Mm-hmm. So I think if you really wanted a table like this, you could create something where you're creating just the top, putting it on a lift desk.
Ooh.
And then you have all kinds of versatility on how high you want to make the thing.
Right.
But all right. Very cool, very cool. Goodbye. But ciao. It's gone.
We got too political. The chat's getting too political on us.
Oh no. Oh. Well,
all right. Cool. That's simple, easy.
So let's see here. What do we want to do? Let's say we're creating 40 by 90 top surface. And again, that's kind of random, but so here's a question, and we can just decide ourselves. One of the things that when you have a gaming table, if you love tables where you have a lot of characters and pieces, and your game over time, and want to keep those, then you need a deeper piece in here. Whereas, for example, me personally, the games we might play are just more board games with little chips and stuff, or actually put puzzles on here. And so having it really deep is actually a bad thing, and it would get in the way. How deep do we want to make this, Charles? Let's make an executive decision on. How about you? What sort of depth would you think?
I don't like, personally, when I have like gaming tables and stuff like that, I personally prefer one that's just like a nice felt on top of a flat table. The indents, especially when it comes to like D&D, especially if you have like really small pieces and they're really like up close, or you have dice, it can get kind of awkward to have like the space, but it's easier to not lose things when you have a table like this. So I also appreciate that. I would say not super deep. Let's say like, I don't know, what would be like a normal depth? A couple inches?
Yeah, let's just go like inch and a half. We'll just split the difference of a couple things.
And then Patrick in the chat says needs to be deep enough for the drawers, for sure. And I think the drawers would be underneath the actual like felt table, right? Is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yeah.
Cool.
If we put drawers in it, which is optional, in this case, and you are correct, this sort of top up here is not that deep, and then the stuff we go underneath. Drawers are not a typical part of this. I don't think drawers are a typical part of any dining table.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think in this case, maybe for like organization, but a A lot of the other tables that I've seen for like organization, it's a lot more like you keep that stuff organized in a separate spot, whether that's like a bookshelf or a chest nearby if you want to go with that similar vibe. So I don't think the drawers are necessary in this spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like a depth where you can leave a game state like on a chessboard or like a board game. Let's see, like yeah, 2 or 3 inches. Let's see.
So let's see. I'm trying to think for a moment here. Are we best to start building the component pieces, or are we better to build out the pieces? And I don't know. Mumble. I warned you all.
Let's say 3-inch depth, because that'll give it like specifically for the use case of like chess pieces on a chessboard.
Okay. I'm making some general assumptions to start with here.
Cool.
So we'll move this down to a 3-inch depth. We've got our side and end rails. Let's make so let's
So what are you thinking right now?
So, I was trying to sort of imagine is like kind of like we did with the tables that I just trashed, where you create kind of block that, you get the blocks in place so that you have the overall, the larger picture dialed in. Mm-hmm. And then you go in and start building, and then that's just your framework versus this, which is I'm coming in and saying, okay, let's start building some of our component pieces out from the start. I don't know that one's better than the other at any given period. But I did make it. What did I make this? 40 by 90 inches, so that's a little longer. Feels a little longer. And we said 3 inches. So as we go, this is where we get to start deciding things like on this side rail. So let's just pull this down. The way that okay, so let's say we're gonna build out some accessories, and so we're gonna have a rail. And if you go out there in the wilds, let me copy this over. And what you can find are a couple ways to approach this. So we could say, let's say we just cut a recess in here. That's what some companies will do is they will just put they will glue in a metal bar right here.
Okay.
Or, a metal bar, and then, not to belabor this, it's inset, blah, blah. But the point of that being, then all the accessories have strong magnets, glued or attached or screwed to them, because you can get magnets with holes that you can just screw to stuff. And so then all of our accessories would be, oops, that's weird. Kind of straight, they just attach straight in. They would come out. They could be shaped however we want. And then, like say, they're magnetic. So they
Okay.
they fit in. That's one style.
Right.
Another version is to actually make this mechanical. So let's say we make this a little higher, and then we would have something like this, where we would, through our routing tools and stuff, be creating a kind of piece like this, and then in this case the accessories would look something like they would have a little piece that look more like this.
Yeah. This is what I'm used to when I've seen gaming tables.
And we'd have to work out that little, like, it sets in here, so we need enough room to kind of tilt it up and set it in.
Right.
Which, we could
I've seen like angled designs where it's more of like a triangle, so you lift it kind of like up and it kind of like hooks in there.
Yeah.
Example.
So actually, this would be a fun part of the process to me, is to experiment with a couple of these and be like, okay, if this would work, we could stick it in here and rotate it into place, and then it would sit. Right. So designing this piece, but those are sort of two of the rail styles out there. There's also, we could create others where you sort of have an entry point, let's say on the ends of them. This would not be, then you can't just remove it anywhere along the way, but it would make things simpler because this would just directly go in and then slide over. So many fun options. What do you think?
I like both. Let's go with this one. I like this.
Okay.
This it's a little, I would say it's a little bit more complex than just having a magnet in the back. And yeah, it's what I'm used to. So I'm here for it.
Okay. Then we'll hang on to this and make
JP Sammy says in the chat, as long as my beer is safe, I'm okay with either. I agree, 100%. Gotta protect the beer.
We will.
Gotta protect the snacks. Like, that's the big part of it. Is like, while we're designing this, we're designing places for snacks. So yeah, whatever is the safest for our snacks, I'm here for.
Okay, well said. We want to keep those snacks well protected. All right, so
what's your favorite snack when you have like a board game night or like a gaming night? Like, what's like the go-to for you? Same thing with people in the chat. I want to hear what you guys think.
Let's round it up. I am a sucker, not just popcorn. I do enjoy popcorn. I am irresistibly, I cannot say no to caramel popcorn. If you throw caramel popcorn in my face, I will eat until I explode. I love that stuff.
I feel that.
What about you?
I love a good dip. A good like a good warm dip, like a spinach artichoke dip, or like a really nice bean dip. Always a great choice. A little messy sometimes, but it's a good choice.
Yeah, that's a good call too, for sure.
Popcorn with hot sauce from Monica.
Popcorn
and hot sauce.
Interesting. I do. Okay, I can see it. Hot. That's curious. Okay, haven't tried it. Curious. Very curious.
Favorite snack to go with game night is more alcohol. Valid. 100% valid. Like, I'm here for that.
Okay, I'm trying to create this with a few real dimensions. So I've got 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch height. This is, I think, 1/2 inch deep. And then in total, make it 1 for good measure, although. Okay. Then, so we said we'd make this 3 inches deep.
Mm-hmm.
So the top surface, the top piece that's laying on top, we're gonna make that because we chose this one. We're gonna make those inset, as opposed to, we could make them so they just sit on top of the whole thing, but we'll make them inset. I don't know, just because.
Because we can.
Because we can.
Yeah.
This is too.
Get off our backs here.
And then this is the question, Charles. Depending on who's helping you set up this gaming table, those pieces, they need to be manageable. So they need to be large enough that there's not a ton of them, but they're also not so big that they're heavy. We can glue those together out of hardwood and have a, again, in the realm of fancy, a nicer, ostensibly, or we could take a nice substrate, a plywood, very viable, put some awesome veneers on it, and make a beautiful top as well. And have and that should be lighter than if we make it out of pure hardwood, which some people might appreciate.
This size, like, you would need to either have it broken up into smaller pieces if you're using hardwood, or that's going to get heavy as heck. Like, you're going to have multiple people set up if it's not lighter for sure.
So what's do you think we should go with a ply and veneer? And
yeah, let's do that. I think that's fine.
All right, so we're going to say plywood with some veneers, be, at least here in the US, 3/4 inch, and then let's give it a little bit of, so let's make it 7/8. This is that out. Make it 1/2 inch for now, but we'll maybe make it. Here's another question. Are you the kind of person who likes the idea of some LED lighting on the inside? Should we create a track for that? Or are you like, that's just for those, Gen Zers who are all think we need to put LEDs on everything?
I think asking me if I like LEDs is hilarious. My entire apartment is set up with remote controlled LED lights so that I can change lights as much as I go. I have
LEDs it is.
Everything. Underneath my couch that sits right next to me, there's LED lights. There's the bedroom has multiple of these. I am sold on the ecosystem of LED lights that are controlled via uh, low nav.
LEDs. We are going to put LEDs. Or at least we're going to accommodate.
What I love about that too, especially like if you do like the space in those in like LED lights, when you're from like a TTRPG space, like tabletop role playing games, D&D, you're like DMing and you want like a serious scene, you can just easily jump into your phone and like slowly turn down the lights to like
Oh,
this really like glow as you like
nice.
say something, sinister, like the big bad evil guy starts talking. It's a lot of fun. I love doing stuff like that. It's great. It really sets the mood. So I'm here for that.
That is awesome. That's great. Okay, so we're kind of got the profile of our side in the works. I want to add some chamfers, but I want to hold off just a little bit before I do, because I love adding those too soon, and then I come back and want to manipulate stuff, and then I have to deal with more edges. So let's copy this. Now,
Now,
decision
now.
time again. We could, we left the side linear. We could, on the ends, create ourselves a little bit of fancy and make it a little bit curved. But that would complicate. We could still make it work, but that might, is it worth doing so? Does it
I think so
with the aesthetic?
like the people who are at like the heads of the table, I would say like if you've got like somebody who's like leading a game, maybe they need a little bit more space like in front of them. That may be a good spot for it, right? I think this would be good. I don't think that's like necessarily the worst. I mean, like if you're doing board games, maybe not as necessary. Um, yeah,
All right. Well, let's see. Let's roll with it, and then we can change it. Right. That's the beauty of what we're doing. Is how deep did I record? Okay. Let's say we're going to do that, but we're still going to incorporate the same rail. Of course, I'm putting this too low. That's what it would be. Paste that in place. Did I? Where did I put that in relation to this edge? Okay. We did something like that, and that should still work, I think.
yeah.
Now, what we should do is not have this running all the way to the end. So let's make this come in to the depth. What is that? 2 inches. And we obviously need to do the same thing down here. So 2, pull that out.
Looking snazzy.
Okay. Okay. I think. All right. Let's.
Does that, did you try? I stepped away from the stream real quick. With that lip, does it still fit with the mechanical thing that we've created? Is that going to be an issue with that bigger lip?
Well, since we, in theory. Oh yeah, no, it will because we have to tilt it up. So yeah, this wouldn't work for this example. So we'd have to do something different, or the magnetic rail would work. But you're right, it won't work with the one that we chose. So could we?
Yeah. Do you want to design another? Do you think we have the time to design another one, or where are you at with this? Or do we just acknowledge that this is not the best choice and we move on?
Well, right. Or we acknowledge, okay, if you're at the head of the table, you have a different type of accessory system available to you. And we just, yeah, you don't get them at the head of the table or, right? Like all the kind of decisions that are perfect. The rails only run.
So you mentioned notching the ends and sliding it in. That would also work. Like having
we could.
The notch.
We talked
it wouldn't
about
be as clean, but it would still work.
Yeah. For this one, because we need that little bit of extra room, this might be what somebody was suggesting. You could, to maintain the same one, we just need a little bit of room.
Okay.
And then this would...
That'll work. Cool.
Slide in. And then when you slide it over...
It'll just work.
Your work. So
it just works.
We could do that.
I like that.
And maintain our same accessories. The other thing, though, that this runs into is then these have to be a lot deeper, right?
Right. I mean, I'm sure you would have different accessories for whatever your needs are. And having a couple ones that are just head of the table specific for whoever's using that is fine.
Yeah. So if we like having, the design element of a curved ends, and that's something that's important, then throws a wrench. Throws a wrench for sure. We'll keep it for now and acknowledge that we're going to have to make a few unique pieces for the end and a few unique considerations.
Cool.
I think...
What are you thinking?
Well, the way that these two pieces come together, we need to resolve and either, so for example, right, they need to come together in a way that that's going to resolve the inside and outside. And probably the easiest way to do that is just to run these side rails all the way up. And then, these end rails are going to be the ones that are going to require some customizations anyway. So I think, for simplicity's sake, and this is going to be a lamination of several boards anyway. These, I think we don't, just aesthetically, we'd want something where they have some sort of end. So Do we do something like that? And do we... What the... Oh, I still have this. Of course. Decisions to make. Because me personally, now that we're we start getting the details. That's the perfect part. Is I want to have these two pieces to have some sort of transitions where they feel like they're part of the same one, and that could just be a simple design element where there's a little indentation or a little strip of different colored wood or something that's going to happen here. I don't think this was... I don't know if I want to do something like that. Tell you what I'm going to do is dial back how much curve this is.
Cool.
Dial it back a little bit. Still there. Still subtle. Okay, we have some work to do there. Let's not get lost right here though. Let's get a few other pieces going. So this is where our inset pieces are going to sit like that. The table bottom, the base, needs to be counted for, and so okay, so let's decide. Okay, let's decide because it makes a difference in where we're gonna do. Do we want to try and accommodate actual drawers in the table like this, which I actually hadn't planned for to do?
I don't think it's necessary for this one specifically, since we already have the rail system. Like, you can add whatever you need. We can just assume that there's like an external place to store things, unless you want to do the drawers.
I kind of don't.
All right.
But for anyone curious, the way that I was thinking about it on this version, let's throw a quick how did I set this up? Yeah, so this piece I hadn't fully would have to come into this side rail, and then underneath, so you're kind of building this skirt out and then building this framework underneath for the drawers, and then the substrate, the main playing surface, sits on that framework. And probably we'd have just a little indent here, and then I don't know what to call these things, because there's the side rail and then there's the side piece on top of the rail here. But so that's how I thought about it, and then you have enough depth for those drawers. But over here we're not going to go that far, so we just need to create some space for Uh, I'm this is I don't this again, like okay, what would we do? We could float this. We could float that surface inside here, and since it's going to be plywood in our case, it would be just fine. We could float it with they make little rubber stuff that's made for like cabinets, so it would hold it tight but allow for wood movement. But with that piece of plywood, I don't think that's that necessary. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of construction,
Right.
and how we might accommodate for that. But I think if we don't have to do that either. We could, well, oh, and I think a good question is, do you want to be able to take this apart when you move? Moving is such a pain, right?
Right.
So how much do you want to be able to just like take this apart completely, just the top and legs, or we could like make it so that we could take all the main area apart, the rails off. All of that is good consideration. That I think we're just not going to solve all those questions. We're not going to answer all those questions here. We're just going to say, I'm going to float this in this here, and for the purposes of what we're doing, and we're going to assume that we are going to semi-permanently, once we put the top all together, maybe not with glue, but at least with hardware, we want to keep the top as one, and then the legs we can remove, but we'll just treat it like that. So right, so if what I'm saying is, this is our and like I say, if we were to float this, we would actually make the dimensions a little bit smaller than and put them in with, say, some, install it with some little rubber gaskets or something, or little, but we'll just, okay, we're going to assume all that.
Cool.
For the moment. Now, if we do that, we still need a way. We have not, this is where we come back to, for example, here, where we kind of resolved that the side rails or skirts, however we want to call them, are going to connect directly into the legs, and then these are going to sit on top of it. And we didn't really answer that question over here first. So now we're left answering that question. How are we going to put this with the tail? So again, probably would have been better to start with a basic. And let's answer a few of the big questions. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Let's start to answer them now. So I think, again, using this side rail as our sort of main main piece that we're working on. I want to... How deep is this? 4. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to make this... I like the look of a little bit of curve on the side rail here.
Yeah.
Gonna try and add that. Because we're not adding drawers in this case, all of this is sort of being assembled into this big, massive piece. But let's just see what happens if we... do something like this. And then, how far is this? 2. Let's make these 4 inches in either side. I don't know about you, Charles, or anybody out there. This is one of the reasons I think. I mean, not everybody likes to actually. Some people really are more comfortable with no music, no background. But for me, because my mind wants to talk through everything, it's a little bit of a way for me to be like, dial that back. So I'm always listening to music in the background because I'm just constantly, do I want to do it this way? Should I make that
Right.
4 inches? How high?
When I'm like doing any kind of like design work, I work better with music, but music that doesn't have lyrics. The moment that music has any kind of like lyrics, I am not focused on what I should be doing. So my go-to is the Tron Legacy soundtrack.
Ah, so good.
Yeah, get some good old Daft Punk with it. It's definitely what I go with.
Love that. Donovan brought that up recently in a different conversation because, yeah, that's a great soundtrack. Okay, we're gonna say tentative okay for now. And if we do, but then the question is, we could take this and we could put it on the inside instead. What would that look like if we did that and made this top smaller? So why am I restricted? Probably some stuff on the other side. This is, oh goodness. Sorry everybody. This is 100% what you get from me when it's like don't have a definitive thing to model and have to figure this out along the way. So sorry.
And unfortunately, we can't play Daft Punk in the background. Due to
Darn
legal
it.
reasons.
But that said, if you have have thoughts on how you might do any of this differently, it's always welcome.
We got some in the chat. Basil says 3 hours of dramatic music. I like that. Like
Like
maybe
cinematic movies?
Yeah, like I love like scores. However, that can be a little distracting at times, especially if you know the movie or show really well. Patrick says background music is great. Agreed. No lyrics. Lo-fi is always a good option. Highly agree. Lo-fi is always great. Constantly on in my house. We got a lo-fi going all the time that I'm not doing work. Igor says, Tyson, don't be sorry. I agree. Don't be sorry. We're just enjoying the process here. I agree 100%.
I appreciate that. Sometimes I feel, well, I will never aspire, I can never claim to be sort of as just fluently funny or, Aaron or some people are just talk through this and crack jokes as they go. The more I go down this path, the more I'm just like,
what do I do? What's next? And that's why you have me, the goofy goober, to talk, to clear up that dead air. Which, while you're figuring this out, I've got a good segue. Folks, this is the part of the show where we just give you that good old call to action. We've got some events that are coming up, specifically 3D Basecamp. 3D Basecamp this November in Vegas. You can join the whole SketchUp team. Will all be out there, all hands on deck, giving you what you love with 3D Basecamp, all of the hands-on tutorials, all of the thought leadership. And then on top of that, you get all of the incredible like networking, not just at 3D Basecamp, but across all of Trimble Dimensions. So across the entire industry, you have some great networking opportunities to really take your career to the next level. So this is like the perfect time, and prices are going to keep going up as we get closer and closer to the event. So highly recommend going to reserve and register as soon as possible. And I'll put that link in the chat, but that's 3dbasecamp.sketchup.com. Once again, that's 3dbasecamp.sketchup.com.
Thank you, Charles.
No problem.
It's a ways off, but already kind of excited. Basecamp is always...
It's not as far as you think it is, my friend. It's coming pretty darn quick. I like to think that it's further off than it is, but it's definitely not. It's still, oh my gosh.
Okay, so... All right. So we need to transfer this configuration as it stands right now needs some work. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I would not build this single way. It probably... How would we do this?
What are some options? What are you thinking?
Well, as one big piece, and again, this would probably be laminated from, you just don't get big pieces like this, or they're prohibitively expensive. So let's say that we've got this would be laminated from several pieces. And with that in mind, we could do it. We could do it just from like laminate some pieces together, build around that, or something where we take this curve that I wanted to add, and now I'm trying to think if we could. So instead, what if we took this, and instead what we would be doing is something like and we'd be building this out of a separate piece, and let's say and then so this would be a piece that we'd be cutting out as one. That makes sense. This one would be a separate piece that we would then attach via any number of things, dominoes, even because they won't be seen. Let's throw pocket screws all across this side, and some people are going to balk at that, but that would hold it together real well. And then to hold this bottom piece, we would attach a series of pieces. Let's go that way. Let's go that way. These are separate. These are two separate pieces that we're going to attach via dominoes or biscuits, or if you're a diehard out there and insist on it, you go ahead and make this a sliding dovetail that whole way.
Ooh.
That's a no. That's a really, really long sliding dovetail, and if you actually could pull that off, that'd be amazing. I'm being facetious. But this is going to be part, of that, and that will make that whole assembly a lot more straightforward. Okay, so that will work that way, and that will make our life easier the other way. Let's see. So what did make this is 1/2 inch. This is 3. What I had 2 legs there. Let me hide that one. So this then actually 1/2 inch. We made this, I think, 1 1/4. Made it 3 inches. And then we made these 4 inches in. Don't have to do the same, but if we did, let's say in theory, it would be 4 inches from here.
I'm looking through our old YouTube videos to see if there's anything that's like kind of similar that we can shout out. 6 years ago, we made a modeling a chess set series.
Oh yeah, 6 years.
6 years,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It looks about it from our end for similar things. Any other, like, while you're kind of like piecing this out, any other pieces of content that your team has like put out that we can do a quick shout out for?
Um, uh, I'm trying to think of some of the highlights that have come recently. Eric did some interesting stuff, kind of playful, where he was, he took one component block and then used the nature of how you can scale the exterior of the component to create this whole scene out of one single component. Not something, excuse me, that you use on a regular basis, but just kind of an interesting, fun experiment. What is something that Aaron's put out recently?
Looks like there's like a rotate with a move tool video that came out yesterday. Cleaning up architectural scale models for 3D printing. That sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna link that in the chat. I actually haven't watched this one. This was just from a few days ago, so I'll link this in the chat for sure.
Nice.
Got some cool stuff. Cool stuff coming your way, y'all. I mean, the next bit of time for SketchUp is going to be pretty cool. So I'm really excited to show you what we got going on. Can't talk about it though.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. SketchUp development team has been cooking up some interesting stuff that we cannot say, but it is very interesting.
Good. It's good. It's pretty good.
I copy this in. I need to get this going. I want to build some accessories, and we're not gonna have time.
We got time, unless you like have to get out by 2.
I know there's no given hurry, but it's just our general try to. It's our discretion.
Anything about the new stuff that we can talk about?
Any what's that?
Any hint about the new stuff that's coming out? They said in the chat. I don't know if we can talk about. I would say like general vibes of SketchUp this year is really focused on you, the creator, and your needs more than ever before. And I think like that is definitely one of the things that we are focused on right now, is really giving people what they want and need and ask for. I think is kind of like the general idea. Not everything, obviously, but that's kind of the vibe.
Unfortunately, that's like a fancy way to say nothing.
That's so true. It's just like, we can't really talk about it until
I know. Why did we bring it up? Oops.
Yeah, so I'm not. I'm not. Any hints? What, are you a cop? No, honestly, SketchUp's going to be pretty great. Future updates are going to be pretty cool. So, if you want to know about what's coming up next, there's always our beta program. You can always join up on our beta program. We've got some cool stuff in there that's been announced. Like diffusion is pretty cool. What else is in lab? There's quite a bit of stuff in labs, but diffusion specifically is probably one of the coolest things that we've got going right now. Do we have a date for the next release? Yes. Are we putting that out into the world? No. We are not. We are not. It's going to be a nice surprise, but we are not. I'm not a snitch. I'm not going to tell you the specific dates until I can say with certainty what the dates are. But it's coming. How do
I
we
know.
join the beta program? Great question. It's through the forum, right?
All of a sudden, I don't know. I ask in the forums. That's probably the best way. When they do open up beta, the one thing I will stipulate about the beta program, people who stay in the beta are the ones who actually like they dedicate time to really testing it. So it's supposed to not just be a way to get early access. It's supposed to be a way to like really put beta stuff through its paces and break it, and so that we can fix it in time. But yeah, I that's a good question, and I don't
Yeah, I would
know
say
for
like
sure.
check in on the forum. The community is where they normally post about like openings for the beta program. Let me see if there's like a specific thing that I can. Oh, yeah. So they'll have openings specifically through the forum. So keep an eye on the forum. They'll make posts regularly to add new individuals to the beta program. Best place to do so. But tools like Diffusion, which are in our labs, are available in product right now. So you can test those out. Subject to change, obviously. Things, we're getting as much information as possible. But yeah, Diffusion you can use right now in products. So yeah.
I really like how they released Diffusion is, like you say, Diffusion's in beta itself. We released it before it's fully baked, and this is something we're trying. And I really appreciate that the powers that be did, because yeah, it's totally available to use. It's not in its final iteration, but we wanted feedback early, so
Yeah.
I love that it's just available out there.
Yeah. We haven't really talked like, I mean, you've probably seen us do videos on it if you keep up with the channel, but we haven't done a lot of like external messaging, but it's a great tool to quickly show off visualizations of your work. So if you have a client that asks for a lot of renders on a regular basis, it's a very easy way to give them that information, but also to create that for whatever you need as quickly as possible without going through the extra steps of rendering.
It is nice, like and it's built on what, stable diffusion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you haven't tried it, you just create a SketchUp image. We could be like, here, I don't think I've got it installed on this, do I?
I think if you don't have it like directly installed, it's through extensions.
Maybe I do have it. Do I? Do I have? I've got too many in here to diffusion. Let me save and we'll do a quick iteration.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens if we break something. Ow! Of course. All right, forget it. I don't want it. What do I have open? Um, Got it. So it's got this image.
Oh, and don't forget to save if you haven't done it recently.
I did. Remind me, what am I missing here? Do I need to add a scene first? And then I clicked through without. It's been a while since I've used it. So if I add a scene, save. There we go. Let's make a pencil sketch.
Yeah, so somebody said that we're streaming through Twitter. Yeah, we're actually streaming through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So pretty much anywhere that you want to find us, we're here for you, dear viewer.
This is very small, the prompt, and it prompted based on choosing a pencil sketch, a pre-made prompt.
Yeah. So this is diffusion too, folks.
Little. Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right. What is it pulling in?
It's trying, right? Like, why is it an architectural sketch, pencil and paper? It keeps trying to throw paper into this, like this is supposed to be sitting on paper. Curious.
Here's what I'll do. You keep working on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up some examples of diffusion, and I'll send it your way, and I'll let you know, and we can just throw them up on the screen for a second.
Well, but you can see with better prompts and creating your model, just create a scene, and so go give that a try. If nothing else, talking about beta and new features, this one's fun to play with. Man, we got to get rid of that paper prompt. It really loves throwing paper underneath there.
Underneath it, yeah.
All right. Diffusion. Okay. Back to the table. I was trying to...
Back to the original stream.
Back to where we were. I was trying to resolve how these corners are going to come together, and then we should build out a few... why did my mind go blank? A few... accessories. That's what I was trying to think of. Accessories. Okay. I'm curious. Since we're dealing with our accessories, I'm just curious. We tweaked our accessories and we made this just a little bit. Because again, I'm sort of hung up on this idea that I want this to flow, this corner to feel like it blends better than it does. And just a little bit of a lip there would do it. But then, of course, we're going to have to modify our accessories. But let's see if we can do that. Problem, of course, with this is what it's not the problem, but once I get this corner dialed in, that'll be perfect. I will need to go and fix the other corners, which, as long as it works, I may save for another day. But in theory, now, the way this would work is we've got this come in, this board would have a cut out for the leg. The leg would have hardware that would attach to our sides.
Are you going to build this, and will you do a video on the Geeks Workshop channel about this? And will you give it to me when you're done? That's a separate question.
Yes, and yes. This one's for Charles. He did such an amazing job at the intro. I think that is a definite
full table for writing 3 paragraphs, man.
That you probably pulled off of AI, wrote for you.
I did not pull that off of AI.
Had to throw it in there.
I am so skilled at this.
I would love to build a table like this. No promises though. But man, wouldn't that be? That would be fun. If somebody will cough up the materials, because this is a bit of materials going on in here. Like that. I think we've got that down. Okay. For the most part, we have the corner dialed in, and I think it'll work. Under here, we would be keeping this top up by just simply just screwing in or something, some pieces, little brackets. Along the way, along all those sides. And that would work fine. So, the top, don't know how many of these we need, but let's find out. Oh, I don't have this fully resolved, so my distance is going to be wrong. Hold on, I better fix a few things.
You've got this.
I was trying to be lazy. I was trying to shortchange y'all. My bad.
How dare you?
I know.
This is your bad. You need a public apology for this misstep.
I deeply apologize. That was very insincere of me.
You need, if we're doing a whole YouTube apology, you need a ukulele in there.
I can't play ukulele. My daughter can a little bit, so I'll have her play ukulele for me.
Okay. Everybody's saying good job, that it looks great.
Oh, sure, it looks
because
great.
You are doing such a good job.
Will it? This is not yet fully resolved. See how this side we've got stuff better aligned than this one. So a little bit of work to do still, but let's at least put this together. And then this goes, can't tell where am I? Somewhere in there. However, this will give us the ability to say, how long is that? 7 3/4. Great. How many panels do we want? 5 or 6? Let's find out. So if we select this line and divide it, 4 panels at 1'9" or 5 panels. Let's go with that. Each one is basically 17 inches. Let's try that. Did I make that a component? I better have. Okay, good. Like the rails, there's different ways that these go together, and a common thing to put is to have some sense of overlapping them, or a channel in here so that and then you put like a rubber gasket in here or something, and then on the other side is a bit of a tenon so that they fit together. Some places will have magnets on the ends so that they hold together, but that is so that you prevent spills seeping through.
Right. Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the jigsaw puzzle kind of one where it just like snaps into the other one. I've seen one of my friends who does this, like makes these for a living, does like little magnets too, so they stick really nice and they have that nice little clunk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's somebody in the chat said that there's not much of a Tyson boneyard. Are you not into the boneyard anymore? There's
Oh,
not. This is very clean. This is very clean for Tyson.
that's fair. That's true. You saw, if you've been here through the whole time, that we had 2 other whole tables here, and that I've been pseudo deleting and working on side. So thank you. I have erased some things as we go, but the ghost boneyard is there in spirit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The ghosts are there in spirit.
I'm still very much the leave stuff all over the place guy. No worries.
Got it.
No worries there. Now we're not going to worry about super making this work because I added a little bit of a lip, which means we need to readjust how this goes, but let's create a few accessories. So first one,
need cup holder.
Cup holder.
Cup holder.
Easy. And that clearly is the best size for any cup.
For a cup, yeah, exactly. That's a regular cup size right there. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Defy you to. You know what? I changed the segments, so let's match them. I made them 30. Actually, I made them, I don't even know what it is because I cut my circle and then I made the resulting curve a different number of segments, so I won't be able to match it exactly without going back and being a little more careful. Oh, well. I'm being so messy here.
It's because you think that we're running out of time here.
I kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just like rack out this last few minutes, heck yeah. Let's just speed draw the rest of this.
And you're right. It's an arbitrary. Let's see. Let's fix this up. And okay, so cup holder with the
Nice.
insert that you got off Amazon.
Heck yeah. We need like a little dice tray.
Yeah. So this one. This is where I love TomTom's Solid Tools and Cleanup because they just clean up a mess like that. If you get rid of a few surfaces and just leave loose edges, it'll clean up all those edges real quick for you. One, we'll make it a little smaller.
Nice. And it doesn't need to be much, you know?
Nah.
I've got little dice that I keep next to my desk at all times. They're the LED ones that just light up when you roll them. They're great. I love them.
That's grand. All right, little tray. Then I saw one that I thought that's clever. That's really clever. And it was it was essentially if we take this, well, let me just quick describe it. It was something that could attach, and then it lifted it just above the height of the table, and then had an entirely another piece, and the whole thing was on a pivot, so that this, so you attach this, and then you could rotate this whole thing
and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
We are creating a lot of scenarios today, and people mentioned it in the comments about how much how every single limb is going to get pinched somewhere on this table, and I'm here for it.
You know what? That's definitely part of the experience, right? That's the ambiance, is that you come away bruised from your gaming table. I thought that was a given. No, that's why we're trying to create all these nice edges, and we need to, take all these edges and make them nice and easy going, but it's true. All right, this one, let's say this one comes up another.
Have you seen any of those videos that are like roll roll for coffee or roll for sandwich?
No.
Basically, people have a like a game table, or a rolling table that has like 1 through 20 of a list of different things that can be in like different parts of the sandwich or coffee or what have you. And they roll to like create each individual part, whether it's the sandwich. They roll bad, they roll a 1, they have to use like, I don't know, the worst possible, oldest bread imaginable. 20 is like the highest quality bread that you could possibly buy at a bakery.
Oh,
We
nice.
should find something that we can do with this. Roll for SketchUp. We don't know what we're designing.
Donovan
That's
suggested that. Credit to
okay.
he said, and it was it was just this morning. I was like, I can't put together a list and pull it off. But he's like, because I was like, what kind of table should we make? What kind of style should we be? Modern, contemporary, craftsman, big old chunky farmhouse style. And he's like, you need to put all those into categories, and you need to create several sets of categories, and all along the way you have to roll, and then you have to model that.
See, like that's a good idea. Donovan and I are on the same page
Yeah.
here. Roll for
It's,
table.
it is a good idea. It's a totally fun idea. I'm a little intimidated by it, but it is totally a good idea. So we have
You get like
this.
disadvantage if you fail specific things, and you have to like design with your your left hand instead of how you normally would. What else? Have some fun with that. Ooh, passing the build to someone else. I'm I don't know if okay. So Charles here. Hi, hello, it's me, Charles, the voice of SketchUp right now. I run the social media side of things, and I work with a lot of influencers for SketchUp. And one of the things that I kind of want to do this year is kind of like that pass the build to someone else, kind of like what y'all do, but without any plans ahead of time or any notes about what they're building, and do like an exquisite corpse with a SketchUp model, between like 5 or 6 different creators. I'm hoping that we can get it done this year. We'll see, but it's definitely on my list of things to do.
Uh, pass the build, or even a fun competitive style build is something definitely that we have considered.
Right.
But yeah, pulling it off is a little.
Yeah, especially with like the exquisite corpse model, where you don't know what you're walking into until it's in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, and it's a long form process because you're literally waiting until the next person or the person prior to you is done. So, and if they run out of, or they take too long to build something, or it goes beyond scope, things get delayed very, very quickly. So that's my, hopefully this year is what I'm saying is, we're starting the process now, because I don't know when it'll get done.
All right, so this has a tray for
Oh,
some pieces, and then your cards, multiple cards you can sit in here, and then
yeah.
this whole thing. Let me give myself a little reference. This whole thing, depending on how you're sitting and stuff, just rotates, and you're like, I think it would be. Now, this was really. I don't know, Charles. You tell me how ridiculous this sounds. You could have have one of these where same idea as this. It's on a spindle of sorts. But the top up here is let's make this is some version of, basically it's a dice, right? It's some version of, you can take this whole thing, maybe put in different inserts for different numbers, or like liver die, or what type of sandwich you're making, and then you spin this whole thing and you get results.
Yeah,
Kinda like a fidget spinner.
I've seen stuff like that where it's like, instead of like an actual die that you're rolling, it's like a circular wheel that lands on those specific numbers. Then it has some like mechanism inside to allow for more random, uses of it. I've seen some cool stuff with that. That's a really great idea. Honestly, a little spin top, like it's like you just can spin it and it lands. What am I thinking of? But yeah, anyways, I think that's a great idea. Especially for the people who forget their dice.
All right, well, we're going to call it as fairly good. And let me see if I can throw a few textures on here. And then... is that going? Okay, good.
Well, while you're getting that done, everybody, thank you so much for sticking around. This has been a delight to kind of work on this with. I didn't do anything. I just really made jokes, but watching Tyson make this has been an absolute delight, and having you all along has been an absolute delight. Do we have any calls to action? Any content coming up next week that we need to? You know what the stream next week is going to be, or is that to be determined?
Yo, what just happened? We don't know what we have planned yet. I'll say I don't think we have a definitive plan. It keeps dropping it into my. I don't know if this is coming through. It keeps dropping it into my streaming software, and I'm trying to drag in another texture. Fine. I'm just going to use the one I have.
All right. Well, yeah. So next week is going to be an exciting week. We got some content planned that we're not sure of at this exact moment. Besides from that, 3D Basecamp Dimensions. I already put the link in the chat, but I'm going to throw it in there again. Don't miss out on 3D Basecamp this year, folks. It's going to be the best yet. Best yet. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be in Vegas. We're going to have a great time. I'll make sure to go to Meow Wolf. I don't think that's a company thing. That's going to be just a Charles thing. But I'm going to go out to Meow Wolf. And Meow Wolf in Denver was built in SketchUp. You knew that? I think we know that internally. But yeah. Thank you all. Thank you. And everybody saying thanks to us. Aw, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Make sure to smash that like button. Meow Wolf Donovan could be a company thing. I mean, it's a trip out there. Well, let's chat. Let us chat about this separately. We'll figure this out. Yeah, and for those who are new, we do this every single week, and we have videos on YouTube almost every single day. We have videos constantly coming out for you. We have content on our blog. A great place to check out is our community, where you can ask questions and get them answered, usually very quick. Follow us on social media. Just DM social media. You're chatting with me, me or one of my coworkers. What else? Y'all are great. Monica says that they felt like they needed to do drugs when they went to Meow Wolf. I am a spokesperson for SketchUp, and I will not discuss that any further.
It is a trip of an experience. So
it's
enough
great.
said.
I like the one in Vegas because it's the Omega Mart, right? And you go into basically this giant shopping center, basically like a Kroger, and you can literally go into all of the different aisles and buy the things off of the shelf. Like, and it's like weird, strange things. We got peanut goop, which was just peanut butter, but just renamed peanut goop. This is great, delightful. Oh yeah, SketchUp Campus for some great courses, and they're free. We got free courses for y'all. So if you're starting out Scratch, if you feel like this is too advanced for you, we've got some content across the spectrum from beginner to advanced. We are here to support you along your journey with SketchUp. So have a nice weekend, everyone. Oh my gosh, this is looking fantastic. I like that color for the felt inside. It's a really nice color.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah.
We got somewhere. Thanks, Charles. I appreciate it. It's fun to hang out. Thank you, everybody. Again, I want to reiterate what Charles was saying. We appreciate you spending time with us and indulging in whatever we're going to throw at you week to week. But hopefully you have find some interesting tidbits in here. And yeah, man, I wish I would love to build this and throw it up on my other channel. Not going to promise.
It looks a little extreme. I'm excited for when you actually do it. Now, legally, either you or Donovan have to build this by law.
Okay, Donovan, quick, throw it up here. What'd you get? Did I win or lose? No, thank you all. I hope you have a great week and a safe weekend. Thank you, Charles. I think that's all for me, unless you got some big outro.
I don't have an outro script planned. What I'll do is, and I'm not on camera right now, you can't see me, folks, but I am saluting you into this weekend. There's a salute. It's going to be a good one.
All right. Thanks again, all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.